she would send us all to college if she had to take in washing.
Us? That would be your brother and you, and your sister.
Yes, there were four of us. There were four of us. But they're all gone now. Madeline went first. She was 14 years older than I am. She got married on Christmas Day in 1938 when I was only 7 years old. She had read to me of Peter Rabbit and Heidi as we sat in a swing on the front porch. She'd fed me green beans and cooled potatoes on long, hot summer afternoons when the men came late from the fields. She taught me the Charleston and danced me to sleep. She'd whispered to me of babies the night Doug was born.
Doug?
Oh, my little brother who grew up to be 6'2" and a pilot and an engineer. But in the beginning, we were children together on a dirt farm, picking cotton and playing with the chickens. And there was always Christmas and the tree.
Bela and I bumped across rough ground as Pet the mule pulled the slide across pasture and field and down the wooded road. Daddy walked and held the lines. How about this one, he'd say, putting his 6-foot frame beside the tree to measure its height. Bela and I danced like elves, examining each branch. We'd rush to the next and the next, Pet and Daddy waiting patiently. Finally, in the midst of a broomsedge field, where Daddy hunted quail every day, we saw the one he'd noted in November. Bela nodded her head. Daddy raised the axe, and we dragged Christmas home.
He loved me. He called me all the time, even when we were grown up. And he always told me so. I love you too, Doug.
We can't.
Oh, I know. Did you know we never had an argument? Not once? Never. And then he got sick, and yes, it says right here, Doug is gone too.
And there was one more, too.
Oh, yes, Curtis, 13 years older than I was. He was our rolling stone. He had 2 years at Clemson, and then he got an appointment to the Naval Academy. Oh, I remember how he and Daddy argued about whether he should go.
Did he go anyway?
Oh, absolutely. We took him up to Annapolis, and the sun was sparkling on the water, and he looked so fine in his uniform. And then 2 years later, they sent him home because of something with his heart. You know, it could have broken him, but he was strong. And he wound up an executive with a big insurance company in Atlanta. Oh, and Mama and Daddy were so proud of him.
And you? Did you go to Clemson, too?
No, no. It was all boys then. I went to Winthrop.
Did your mama have to take in washing for you to do it?
Oh, no, thank goodness. She didn't have to do that.
Well, was it hard, leaving home?
Well, I was just 16. Mama had started me at school a year early, and back then South Carolina only had 11 grades. I remember spending the whole summer just sewing away, making my clothes for Winthrop, and then fashions change, hemlines drop, and I had to put a ruffle on every single one. Granddaddy carried me up
pretty early on, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Back at Fairview School. Just 2 rooms in a pine forest.
Old book from Boston's Linda Hand book mission filled one shelf in the cloakroom. At 8, I reached out and touched the cheap blue cover. My finger traced faded gold words, Alice in Wonderland. I fell down the hole, I drank the magic, I grew big.
And then you graduated from Winthrop.
1951. Magna cum laude. I was applying for a Fulbright scholarship, and I was working up at a resort in the mountains, but there was Jimmy.
Dearest Bela, I have come in from work, but dinner isn't ready, so I thought I'd start a letter to you. It is my turn to write, and I want to make it your turn as quickly as possible. Loving you has become the one important thing in my life. It would be false to say that I love you for one particular thing or the other. I love you for all of you. To me, there are ties that bind me to you stronger than anything man can design. They are the strings of love that include all the little things that attract. The little things are tied lightly. The bigger things by stronger ties until there is that which connects my very heart and soul and body to you with unbreakable bonds. This is my passion for you. Without it, love cannot exist, and I know that I love you as strongly and as honestly as anyone has ever loved.
How could I resist such beautiful words? I wasn't even 20 yet. I fell head over heels in love. I quit my job, came home in July, and told Mom and Daddy I wanted to get married in August, and they had 6 weeks to pull it off, which they did. I got married right here at Emory Church. We said the words, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, till death do us part. And we probably knew, or we probably thought we knew what they meant. Love seems so easy when you're 20. And I remember being so in love, especially with the way the bone turned right there under his ear. And then Jimmy was called back up. After Christmas, we went down to Eglin Field in Florida. And I was pregnant by then, and so sick. I couldn't stand the smell of green beans cooking. Oh. Then we went up to Kirksville, Missouri for him to learn radars. And so I didn't have anything to do, so naturally I took some courses, and it was an adventure. Except, did you know that up there, they don't have pine trees? And it was the middle of the winter, even though it was March, and it was gray, and it was snowing, but I had the cutest little snowflakes. Then Jimmy got shipped out. I came back to Saluda and moved in with Mama and Daddy. Wasn't long before I had my baby, my precious, precious Jimmy. I was teaching, and every day I was writing a letter to Jimmy. And in my letters I said, the day you come home will be the happiest day of my life. And it was. He came home and we started building a house. That house right over there on 110 Hazel Street. I was expecting pretty soon, and we brought Madeline home to that very house. The house that Jimmy built. The first time I swept that polished oak floor, I knew I'd be sweeping those boards for a lifetime. That house we built to last. A young husband sawed the boards, hammered the nails, placed each shingle, laid each brick. A young wife filled the nail holes, painted the walls, sewed the curtains, refinished the Together, we built our castle.